So now lawmakers in Congress just announced that they will need to pass the new social spending bills before the end of this month. Now, when the crisis did take hold back in March 2020, Congress immediately passed the CARES Act, and now they should do the same with the fourth stimulus check. Because even though the country's reopening, more stimulus payments are definitely needed. There are Americans demanding that fourth stimulus checks be sent out.
And I'm going to make some brief comments, maybe ask a few questions, and then we'll yield and go down the road here, and maybe we can, all of us, both virtually as well as in person here, we can hopefully make some progress. I want to thank the Secretary of Treasury, Secretary Yellen, Commerce Secretary Raimondo. I see her on the screen there. It's good to see you. And the leaders of some of America's most important businesses and institutions. The American Association of Retired Persons, the AARP, Bank of America, Citibank, Deloitte, Intel, JP Morgan, NASDAQ, the National Association of Realtors, and Raytheon. And for joining me today to talk about the need to raise the debt limit.
And I do believe that President Biden can do a better job in helping out the American people. And of course, raising his Social Security benefits.
We haven't failed to do that since our inception as a country. We need to act. These leaders know the need to act. The United States pays its bills. It's who we are. It's who we've been. It's who we're going to continue to be, God willing. That's what's called the full faith and credit of the United States. Let me be clear. Raising the debt limit is paying our old debts. There's nothing to do with new spending or what may be coming this year or other years. It has nothing to do with my plans on infrastructure or building back better, both of which are paid for, but they're not even in the queue right now. It's about paying for what we owe and preventing a catastrophic event occurring in our economy. I'm glad these leaders are here to talk about the real-world impact this is going to have on people and on our position in the world. Today's discussion won't be partisan. It shouldn't be. Raising the debt limit is usually bipartisan. Let me speak for myself here. I want to be clear so the American people understand what's going on. There's a Senate vote today to raise the debt limit. Traditionally, it needs only 50 votes.
So at one stage, there were more than 29 million people claiming unemployment benefits. The tens of millions of people who lost their jobs benefited from these new programs. And there was unemployment assistance, which provided unemployment benefits to individuals who are self-employed and seeking part-time employment. So, even though unemployment benefits are being paid out, stimulus checks are also needed. Everybody, you have to know this. September did see more than 1 million new applications for unemployment benefits. And that's a large number, but well below previous months.
All Democrat votes, they weren't going to help. Said, okay, we'll provide 50 votes. The definition in the Democrats, we have the votes. The Democrats are willing to step up and stop this economic catastrophe if Senate Republicans will just get out of the way. But our Senate Republican friends are planning to block the vote to raise the debt limit by using the procedural power called the filibuster. To say that in plain English, it means you have to have 60 votes when there's a filibuster. 60 votes, a supermajority, instead of 50 to get anything done. It's not right, and it's dangerous. The reason we have to raise the debt limit is in part because of the policies of the previous administration, which incurred nearly $8 trillion in bills in 4 years, some of which Democrats voted for. More than a quarter of all the debt now outstanding. We had to raise the debt limit 3 times when Donald Trump was president. And the Republicans moved to raise it each time, and each time the Democrats supported the effort to raise the debt. But now Republicans won't raise the debt limit despite being responsible for what the debt limit, why it has to be raised for the bills that are outstanding. They won't raise it enough through, if they've done, we're going to be defaulting on a debt that would lead to self-inflicted wounds that risk the market tanking and wiping out retirement savings and costing jobs. Defaulting on the debt, which Secretary Yellen said could happen at any day after October the 18th, when we run out of money, means that Social Security benefits will stop. Salaries to service members will stop. Benefits to veterans will stop, and much more. The failure to raise the debt limit will undermine the safety of the United States Treasury securities, threaten the reserve status of the dollar as the world currency and that the world relies on, downgrade America's credit rating, and result in a rise in interest rates for families, talking about mortgages, auto loans, credit cards.
If all weekly applications are added together, the total is 1.36 million applications. Not all of these, though, will be accepted, however, and that's due to the terms of benefit eligibility that many people aren't able to claim. The number of continuing claims for benefits fell sharply in early September, as the extended unemployment benefits during the crisis fell down nationwide. But the last 2 weeks of September saw a slight rise in initial claims. The ending of extra unemployment benefits on Labor Day could lead to more people requiring further support. A part of this was the extra $300 weekly payment and an expansion to the number of weeks that unemployed people can claim benefits. Now, the U.S. is currently in the midst of a historic number of job vacancies, with July having more than 10.7 million available jobs nationwide. But Democrats have a new deadline to enact President Biden's economic agenda. The party will try to pass both bipartisan infrastructure bills and as well as the social spending bill by the end of October, and the party aims to approve the plans before the October 31st expiration of major transportation funding programs. To pass what they bill as transformative investment in the social safety net and climate policy. Democrats want to satisfy progressives who thought an initial $3.5 trillion price tag was too small, and at least one centrist who wants to spend no more than $1.5 trillion. Now, Schumer set out the new timeline after House Democrats delayed a planned Thursday vote on the Senate-passed Thursday infrastructure bill. Progressives are now seeking assurances that Democrats will pass a larger social spending and climate proposal that's withheld support from the bipartisan plan. Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and even President Biden, everybody, all have appeared to acknowledge the fact that neither bill will pass without the other. They have also stressed that both wings of their party will have to yield ground to find a sweet spot between the $1.5 trillion and $3.5 trillion stimulus checks, actually bills. $3.5 trillion bills. Talks in the coming days will shape whether millions of Americans receive a dramatic boost in benefits in the coming years. The negotiations will also determine how big of a role the federal government will take in curbing the threat of climate change. Democrats' proposal could expand paid leave and make childcare more affordable, and also extend the more generous child tax credit.
Democratic members of the Senate have reached the limits of their patience with Senator McConnell, that he would change the standards for the debt ceiling approval in the United States at this moment in history is just unexplainable. It was clearly political.
Can you assure Americans that the nation will not default?
If I could assure them that enough Republicans would join us, as they usually do, for this, what has become routine.